So you look at this LSU schedule for 2025, and as always, it's going to be one of the toughest schedules in the country because you're in the SEC. You got to play Alabama every year. We get it. But if you look at, let's see, so LSU's schedule is ranked sixth. Got the sixth toughest schedule in the country, according to Phil Steele. And normally, I'm a big Phil Steele fan. He's one of the best as far as just giving you pure data, just information. But he's got Maryland as the fifth, Syracuse having the fifth toughest schedule in the country, and Syracuse is playing guys like Boston College and Colgate. I'm not exaggerating, Colgate and UConn on that schedule. So I don't know how you get them that high up. But anyway, shout out to Phil Steele, still a great guy in the industry. And he has LSU with a pretty tough schedule, nonetheless. It's pretty much going to be the same as last year's schedule, except some of these games are going to be flipped as far as who's home and who's away, like South Carolina, Alabama, teams like that. So we're going to start at 5 with LSU's toughest games, and at number 5, I've got Texas A&M. A&M is not really getting a lot of hype going into the system, but they still return a lot. So they lost some really good defensive linemen. They lost some guys from their front, but they also bring back a lot. If you look at Bill Connolly's numbers on returning production, Texas A&M is returning 71% of their production from last year, which is like top 5 in the country. That's a lot of experience. That's a lot of talent coming back because they recruited well too. So you got a lot of guys coming back into the second year of Mike Elko's him at Texas A&M. So they're more comfortable with his expectations, the way he does things, and just his system. Just learning the way he wants to not only approach the game, but play the game. It's an adjustment with a new coach, and he had a solid year, but you got to expect a big jump in his second year because that's typically what you get. He's a proven guy. A&M, we talked about that defensive line and the talent that they lost, but they're also bringing back some great talent. They're also bringing back talent at the linebacker level with Tariq York. And you got a loaded secondary with Des Riggs out of Alabama. So also Bryce Anderson at safety, one-time LSU target when he was in high school. So A&M is going to be a tough game. It's always a tough game. And I got to start with them because they kind of laid the groundwork. They gave the blueprint for how to beat LSU last year. You know, LSU went into College Station high on the hog. Forgive the pun, but they beat Arkansas. You beat South Carolina early in the season, and you're thinking, okay, got a little something going. Could be a playoff team. Go out here, and the game started out great for LSU. But once Marcel Reed came in at quarterback and he ran all over the field, LSU just had no answer for him, and the momentum completely got away from the Tigers. Absolutely no resistance. Marcel Reed, I mean, he ran around LSU like Bo Jackson, like take my ball, Bo Jackson. It was crazy, but they just didn't have any answers for him, and it went downhill from there. So that's where you first started to see the wheels kind of squeak for LSU before they completely fell off, losing 2 more in a row after A&M. A&M was at that 5 spot for LSU as far as toughest games, but the good news is you do get them at home. And the way this series has gone the past few years, LSU wins at home, Texas A&M wins when they're at home. And it really hasn't completely gone the way you would expect because it's not always just based on who has the more talented team, but it was at home. That's the way it's going. LSU is at home. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed by them being at home, but it helps. At the 4th spot, LSU's toughest games, we have Florida. Florida is preseason at number 15 in the AP poll. You also get Florida at home. And you've had some questions about DJ Lagway's health coming into the season, but I don't really too much. I mean, I don't want him to be hurt, but I don't care about reports about his health because he beat LSU last year on one leg as a true freshman. So Lagway, he's shown a lot of not only physical gifts, but also the composure that you want to see. When you see a guy playing hurt and the team rallying around him as a true freshman, and you see him elevate his team around him, this is a different type of guy. And it would surprise me if he wasn't in the Heisman conversation towards the end of the year, because it's just uncommon for a guy to play like that as a freshman, and you got to expect him to be even better. You got more weapons at receiver. Even though they lost a true freshman recently in Dallas Wilson, you're still going to be healthier than you were last year at receiver, and you're going to have more options there. So Florida is always a tough game, and you get them early in the season, earlier than what you're used to. You're getting Florida third game of the year, and they're built to take advantage of LSU's weaknesses. Last year, even with a veteran offensive line, you had Dellinger to go out at guard, but Florida absolutely dominated LSU in the interior. Their defensive tackles were they were problems. And you get these guys back this year. Tyreek Sapp, Cameron James, who played defensive end, but he also moved inside a lot. These guys were just wrecking the LSU offensive line. And Nussmeier caught a lot of heat, but there's no worse place to take pressure than up the middle. And they got in the middle whenever they got up the field in the middle of the offense whenever they wanted to. So it's going to be a big test for LSU, and they're not going to have a whole lot of time to prepare and to get ready for them because it's like I said, it's the third game of the year. Again, you do get Florida at home, so that's a big plus for LSU. That's a big advantage, but nothing is going to be given. And Lagway is one of these guys. I think the LSU pass rush is going to be much better. They'll be much better this year, but at the same time, Lagway is the type of quarterback where you can't just get to him. Like, you got to get him down. Like, pressure is not going to rattle him. You have to get to him. You have to sack him. You have to end the play. And if he's healthy, it's going to be an even bigger task for LSU. At the 3 spot, South Carolina. South Carolina is ranked 13th in the AP poll. Thank goodness for the Tigers. You also get them at home. And in my notes for South Carolina, I got Sellers, period. Lenora Sellers, as much as I think of Lagway at Florida, I have a higher opinion of Sellers. He kind of made the news in the offseason when he was voted as the first-team quarterback, first-team All-SEC quarterback, and there was a lot of pushback on that because it was kind of assumed that Nussmeier was going to get that. But when you're honest with yourself and you consider what you're expecting for 25, when they come and they vote on these all-conference selections, you're projecting what you're going to see in 25. Whatever happened last year is out of the window. And when you compare Sellers and Nussmeier, these are two guys that are going to be in the conversation for the first quarterback to be taken. These are two first-round picks, likely top 10 first-round picks. And it's not outlandish by any means to think that Sellers could be the best quarterback in the league. You look at what he did last year as a redshirt freshman, and he did a lot of it hurt. I mean, let's be honest, if he stays healthy in the LSU game, LSU is not winning that game. You got to take all of the fanship out of it. It's just what it is. He's a difference maker. Physically, you're just not going to see many guys like Sellers. His biggest issue was ball security, but as a young player, you expect things like that. Similar to Texas A&M, they lost some NFL talent up front, but they also bring back a lot of talent too. You're bringing back Dylan Stewart, who's going to be maybe your best pass rusher in the SEC. You can talk about maybe Simmons at Texas, but Stewart is definitely top 3 in this conversation. He came on as a freshman last year and was unblockable. So you bring him back. That secondary is still very talented. You got Jalen Kilgore, who play a little nickel, who play a little safety. So South Carolina is going to be another solid team, and you're expecting some growth out of Sellers. Once again, LSU is really catching a break by getting some of your better teams and your better quarterbacks. You're getting them at home. So just as I expect South Carolina to improve with Sellers having another year, I expect LSU to improve with Nussmeier going into his second year as a starter for LSU. These guys, a lot of things you can only learn by experience. You can practice, you can get all the reps you want, but Nussmeier will also be more prepared, and that defense won't be quite as salty as it was, even though it'll still be a great defense and a big challenge for LSU. So South Carolina is at the 3 spot.